An invisible method, a secret kept for generations, that allows anyone to manifest prosperity in just 21 days, even if you have already tried dozens of techniques without success. The difference is that this method is not dependent on your current circumstances. It doesn't require you to have been born with a silver spoon, and it doesn't ask you to do anything beyond what is already within your power. The problem is that 97% of people never discover this method, because they are looking exactly at the opposite side of where true prosperity is born. They have been conditioned to seek outside what can only be found within. Wallace D. Wattles, the man who revolutionized thinking about wealth more than a century ago, wrote something extraordinary that most people completely ignore. He stated, "There's a science of getting rich, and it is an exact science. Like algebra or arithmetic, there are certain laws which govern the process of acquiring wealth. And when these laws are learned and obeyed, one will get rich with mathematical certainty." Imagine having in your hands the invisible laws that govern prosperity, and being able to activate them in a consistent and predictable way in just 21 days. This is not an empty promise based on superficial visualizations or repetitive statements. It is a profound method that completely reshapes your relationship with abundance. At a cellular level, the truth is that the universal substance, that from which all things are made, is constantly flowing towards you. The only obstacle between you and the prosperity you deserve is the invisible filter, created by your mind. And this 21-day method is precisely about recalibrating that filter, allowing abundance to flow naturally into your life. The biggest illusion about prosperity is believing that it depends on external factors, the market, the economy, your education, your work, or who you know. This is the first and most powerful barrier we need to eliminate. When we look at people who have achieved true prosperity, not just financial wealth, but abundance in all areas, we see a consistent pattern. These people did not necessarily have better starting conditions. What they had was a fundamentally different relationship with the nature of abundance itself. Wattles revealed this secret when he wrote, "There's nothing wrong with the desire to get rich. The desire for wealth is really the desire for a richer, fuller, more abundant life. It is a cosmic impulse." This affirmation frees you from the subconscious guilt associated with the desire for prosperity. Your desire for abundance is not greed. It is part of life's natural drive seeking fuller expression through you. But here's the problem. You've been programmed since childhood with mixed messages about money and prosperity. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money is the root of all evil. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. These are not just phrases. They are energetic programming that has become deeply rooted in your subconscious. The first step of the invisible method is to identify and dissolve these limiting programming, because as long as they exist, they will act as an invisible force field repelling the prosperity that would naturally flow to you. Think of your mind as a garden. Beliefs about prosperity are seeds. If you sow seeds of scarcity, you will reap scarcity, no matter how many manifestation techniques you try. This is why many people read the same books about wealth, take the same courses, apply the same techniques, but get radically different results. True transformation begins when you realize that you don't need to fight for prosperity, you need to allow yourself to receive it. This is a fundamental paradigm shift. You go from wealth seeker to natural recipient of abundance. Wattles put it crystal clear. You must free yourself from the belief that God wants you to be poor or that poverty is a sign of holiness. This release removes the first major invisible blockage. During the 21 days of the method, you must consistently examine your emotional reactions to money, prosperity, and abundance. Notice how you react when you see someone displaying wealth. Observe your thoughts when you pay a bill or receive an unexpected amount. These reactions reveal your true beliefs, those that operate on a subconscious level, beyond superficial positive statements. The great illusion we need to transcend is that prosperity is about having more. In fact, prosperity is about being more, being the version of yourself that naturally vibrates in alignment with abundance. It's about expanding your identity to include a peaceful, harmonious relationship with the constant flow of universal wealth. At the heart of the invisible method is the fundamental principle of manifestation. Everything in the material universe begins as an energetically charged thought. This is not an abstract metaphysical concept, but a tangible reality that can be demonstrated in your life over the next 21 days. Wattles expressed it with mathematical precision. Thought is the only force that can produce tangible wealth from formless substance. But here's what most people don't understand. There's a crucial difference between casual thinking and substantial thinking. Casual thinking is superficial, fleeting, and without an energetic charge. This is when you think, it would be nice to have more money while continuing to vibrate at the frequency of scarcity. Substantial thought, on the other hand, is one that penetrates the deepest layers of the mind, charged with emotional certainty and vitality. It's the kind of thinking that alters your fundamental vibration. During the first 7 days of the method, you will learn to transform casual thoughts into substantial thoughts through a specific mental impregnation technique. This technique involves more than visualization. It involves creating a mental field so vivid and real that your subconscious cannot distinguish between the imagined experience and reality. The 3-step formula for this transformation begins with crystal clarity. You must define exactly what prosperity means to you in specific terms. It's not enough to say, "I want to be rich." How much exactly? To do what? How would that feel in your body? What would be the first thing you would notice when you woke up as a prosperous person? The second step is vibrational consistency. Your thoughts about prosperity should maintain the same energetic frequency throughout the day. If you imagine abundance in the morning, but spend the whole day worrying about bills, you are canceling your own signal. It's like trying to tune to two radio stations simultaneously. You only get static. The third step is unshakable conviction. Wattles emphasized, you must believe that thought can be made into a thing. This is not a casual belief, but an absolute certainty that permeates every cell of your being. It's the kind of conviction that the great manifestors of history possessed. They saw the desired reality as a fait accompli long before its physical manifestation. A powerful technique for the first 7 days is what I call desired reality immersion. For 20 minutes every morning, you will mentally live a complete day as the person who has already achieved the desired prosperity, not as a fantasy, but as a conscious simulation that programs your subconscious to recognize this state as your natural reality. By doing this consistently, you create a neural pattern in your brain, literally creating new synaptic pathways that facilitate the manifestation of prosperity. Modern science confirms what Wattles intuited. Our brains do not clearly distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real experience. Both create similar neural patterns. This is why elite athletes use visualization, not as an esoteric technique, but as a scientific method of neuromuscular programming. In the same way, you will be programming your mind to recognize and attract prosperity as naturally as you breathe. Manifestation is not about forcing reality to bend to your will. It's about tuning into your personal frequency to come into harmony with the abundance that already exists. As Wattles taught, you don't need to take anything from anyone. You don't need to steal. You just need to create. And creation begins at the level of substantial thought. Just as there is a specific frequency for each radio station, there is a precise vibrational frequency for prosperity. When you tune into the correct frequency, manifesting abundance becomes as natural as water flowing down a hill. This is the secret that transforms the intermediate period of the method, from days 8 to 14. The frequency of wealth is not characterized by desperate seeking or burning desire. Paradoxically, it is a frequency of contentment, gratitude, and relaxed expectation. As Wattles profoundly observed, to get rich, you need not be in an anxious hurry. In fact, such behavior tends to defeat its purpose. This is a truth that most prosperity seekers do not understand. Anxiety, worry, and overexertion emit frequencies of lack, signaling to the universe that you operate from lack, not abundance. In the universe, being a perfect mirror, simply reflects that lack back to you. Gratitude is the most powerful catalyst for prosperity because it instantly raises your frequency. When you express genuine gratitude for what you already have, you move from the frequency of lack to the frequency of enough, and only from that place can you attract more. During this phase of the method, you will cultivate the habit of identifying and neutralizing scarcity frequencies as they arise. These frequencies appear as automatic thoughts. I can't afford this. That's too expensive. People like me don't have those things. Each of these thoughts, no matter how harmless they may seem, emits a vibration that repels prosperity. The neutralization technique involves 3 simple but profound steps. First, identify scarcity thinking as soon as it arises. Second, recognize it as programming, not truth. Tell yourself, this is just a thought, not a reality. Third, consciously replace it with its opposite, not as an empty statement, but as a genuine possibility that you allow yourself to consider. Wattles offered a powerful technique for permanently raising your vibration. Live in gratitude for the wealth you have received, and be grateful for everything that comes to you. Don't waste time thinking or talking about the faults or wrongdoings of plutocrats or tycoons. Your view of them serves no purpose. This practice eliminates the energy of resentment toward the rich, a surprisingly common block to prosperity. Many people unconsciously resent those who have what they want. This resentment creates a contradictory frequency. I want to be rich, but I hate rich people. The universe cannot deliver 2 opposite signals simultaneously. On days 8 through 14, you'll practice what Wattles call thinking a certain way, a state of mind that combines gratitude for the present with confident anticipation for the future. This state produces the exact vibrational frequency of prosperity. A transformative exercise for this phase is abundance accounting. Each night, you will record all the forms of abundance that flowed into your life during the day. Not just money, but kindness, opportunities, ideas, connections, beauty, everything that represents value. This exercise trains your brain to recognize the abundance that is already present, automatically raising its frequency. At the end of the 14 days, you will have established a new vibrational pattern, one that naturally attracts rather than repels prosperity. As a new frequency settles into your energetic field, you will begin to notice synchronicities, opportunities, and resources appearing in unexpected ways. The third phase of the invisible method, from the 15th to the 21st, focuses on the most tangible element of manifestation, action. But not just any action. There's a fundamental difference between efficient action and effective action, between working hard and working in alignment with the universal laws of prosperity. Wallace D. Wattles explained this with crystal clarity. You need not work for anyone but yourself. And to act this way, you must not only think, but act a certain way. This distinction between mere action and right action is what separates those who prosper from those who merely survive. Efficient action is doing things the right way, following established processes, optimizing time, completing tasks. Effective action, on the other hand, is doing the right things, those that are in perfect alignment with your higher purpose and the natural flow of abundance. A person can be extremely efficient in actions that will never produce true prosperity. During this crucial phase, you will learn to identify and follow the path of least resistance, not as a way to avoid effort, but as a technique for navigating in harmony with the natural currents of life. Like a sailboat that adjusts its sails to take advantage of the wind, instead of rowing against the tide, you will learn to recognize when you are in flow and when you are struggling. Signs that you're on the path of least resistance include feelings of renewed energy after work, rather than exhaustion, frequent synchronicities, doors opening naturally, and that unmistakable feeling of flow, where time seems to flow differently because you're completely present in the experience. This is the difference between inspired action and forced action. Inspired action comes from a place of connection with your inner wisdom and universal intelligence. Forced action comes from fear, obligation, or the need for control. One builds sustainable prosperity, the other drains your vital energy and produces mediocre results. Wattles stated, "When you are in doubt, wait, retreat into the contemplative until inspiration comes. It will come." The reason you don't need to rush is that you are working with an infinite element, and you have unlimited time. This advice counters the frenetic do more, faster mentality that dominates our culture, which is precisely why so few achieve true prosperity. A transformative exercise for this phase is the inspiration radar. Each morning, you will enter a calm meditative state and ask, what is the most aligned action I can take today to move toward prosperity? The answer will come not as an exhaustive list of tasks, but as one or two clear, energizing actions. These are the actions that will produce exponential results because they are perfectly aligned with the natural flow of prosperity. In the final days of the method, you will learn to distinguish between productive action and mere activity. Productive action is that which creates real value in the world and attracts multiplied returns. Mere activity is purposeless movement, the illusion of progress that keeps many people permanently busy but never truly prosperous. This distinction is crucial because our world values and rewards the appearance of hard work, not necessarily the results. As Waddell stated, do every day all that can be done that day, but do it without haste, worry, or fear. Go as fast as you can, but never rush. At the end of the 21 days, you will have not only a new mindset and vibrational frequency, but also a new pattern of action, one that naturally attracts and amplifies prosperity in all areas of your life. Even with the best method and best intentions, there are invisible roadblocks that can impede your journey to prosperity. These blocks operate in the shadows of your consciousness, silently sabotaging your efforts. Identifying and neutralizing them is essential for the complete success of the 21-day method. The 5 most common subconscious blocks to prosperity are universal in nature, but unique in their individual expression. The first is what I call family loyalty programming, the unconscious belief that thriving beyond your family's level would be a form of betrayal. This blockage manifests as inexplicable sabotage when you begin to reach new heights of success. The second block is fighter identity, the deeply ingrained belief that personal worth comes from struggle and sacrifice. If your identity is built around working hard or overcoming adversity, the prosperity that comes easily can paradoxically threaten your sense of self-worth. The third is the fear of visibility, the subconscious terror of being seen, judged, or envied for your success. This blockage especially affects people who grew up in environments where standing out had negative consequences. Prosperity inevitably brings some degree of visibility, and this fear can act as a powerful invisible brake. The fourth block is survivor's guilt, the feeling that it's not fair for you to thrive when others still suffer. This blockage is particularly insidious because it masquerades as moral virtue, when in fact it is just another form of fear in disguise. The fifth and perhaps most universal is fear of the unknown, the existential anxiety about who you would be and what your life would be like if you truly manifested the prosperity you desire. As Marianne Williamson wisely observed, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. During the 21-day method, you will learn specific techniques to counteract each of these blockages. The most powerful is transformative self-talk, a structured dialogue with the parts of yourself that resist change. This technique does not attempt to force or suppress these aspects, but to honor and integrate them into your new thriving identity. Wallace D. Wattles recognized the importance of overcoming these blocks when he wrote, "Whatever is possible in belief is possible in action. Do not stop where yesterday's successes end. More and more power is waiting to express itself through you." This passage reveals a profound truth. Your blocks are not permanent flaws, but simply temporary beliefs that can be transformed. A particularly inspiring story is that of Maria, a single mother who grew up in extreme poverty. She carried all 5 blocks at different intensities. By applying the 21-day method, she specifically confronted her family loyalty programming, the unconscious fear of being different from her family while thriving. Through transformative self-talk, she discovered that she could honor her roots by not remaining in poverty, but by using her prosperity to create a new family legacy. In just 3 weeks, Maria not only transformed her internal relationship with prosperity, but began to see tangible changes in her external reality. Opportunities arose, profitable ideas manifested, and her part-time business began to attract clients consistently, not because she worked longer hours, but because she removed the invisible blocks that were impeding her natural flow of abundance. The crucial lesson is that your blocks do not define your potential. They simply reveal where greater awareness and transformation is needed. Over the 21 days, you will develop the ability to identify these blocks as they arise. Not to fight them, but to compassionately integrate them into your new thriving identity. As you progress through the 21-day method, a fascinating phenomenon begins to occur, what I call the prosperity acceleration cycle. This cycle creates a positive feedback system, where prosperity begins to feed and amplify automatically, like an investment that generates compound interest in your life. Wallace D. Wattles described this phenomenon accurately. The more gratitude you express, the more things you will have to be grateful for, and the more harmoniously you tune into the mind of all things, the more things you will receive, and the more ardently you will be grateful. This virtuous cycle is the secret to results that multiply exponentially over time. The cycle begins with an internal shift, a change in your vibration and thinking. This change, however small, produces a small outward evidence of prosperity. It could be something simple, an unexpected opportunity, a small increase in revenue, a valuable idea. The key is to acknowledge this evidence with conscious gratitude. This grateful recognition raises your vibration even further, intensifying your alignment with the frequency of prosperity. This deeper alignment, in turn, attracts even greater evidence of abundance. It's a self-reinforcing cycle that naturally accelerates the more you recognize and appreciate the prosperity that is already present. The more that prosperity expands. The secret to fully activating this cycle lies in what Wattles called the law of exponential return. This law states that when you value the world in a way that aligns with your authentic purpose, the return you receive is not just proportional, it is multiplied. It is not a 1-to-1 ratio, but 110 or even 1-to-100. A crucial dimension of this cycle is conscious patience. As Wattles taught, once you have learned this science, your results will be in proportion to your faithfulness in obeying the law. The law of attraction of life will bring you your own things as surely as it carries water down. Acting in a certain way will bring wealth to you as surely. This mathematical certainty eliminates the anxiety that normally accompanies efforts to manifest prosperity. When you know, not just believe, but know at a cellular level, that the law is working even when the results are not yet visible, you can maintain the frequency of prosperity without interruption. During the 21-day method, you will learn to recognize the subtle signs that the cycle is working before tangible financial results even manifest themselves. These signs include increased synchronicities, a feeling of greater fluidity in life, creative ideas arising spontaneously, and an inexplicable sense of peace regarding the future. It is important to understand that small internal changes create big external results due to the exponential nature of this cycle. A 1% change in your internal vibration can result in a 10% or more change in your external reality, because you are not just altering circumstances. You are altering the energetic field through which all circumstances are filtered and interpreted. As Wattles explained, it is not your environment or external conditions that create or impede your success. It is your conformity to the flow of things that determines the course of your life. This conformity is not passive resignation, but conscious alignment with the laws that govern the manifestation of prosperity. The true measure of any method of transformation is its applicability in the real world, not in an isolated monastery or ideal conditions, but in the midst of the demands, challenges, and complexities of everyday life. This is where the invisible method for manifesting prosperity really shines. Integrating the method into your daily routine begins with recognizing that every moment is an opportunity to practice prosperity consciousness. From the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep, you have countless chances to choose between thoughts of scarcity or thoughts of abundance. Wallace D. Wattles expressed this principle with powerful simplicity. Life manifests itself to you through what you do every day, not just in moments of contemplation. This profound truth reveals that the manifestation of prosperity is not a separate event in life. It is life itself lived with heightened consciousness. The method can be adapted to different financial situations with small adjustments if you are starting with limited resources. The initial focus should be on cultivating the abundance mindset while taking small aligned actions daily. If you already have financial stability but are looking to expand, the focus should be on removing the invisible blocks that limit your next level of expression. The question many ask is, how can I maintain results beyond the initial 21 days? The answer lies in transforming prosperity consciousness from a practice to a state of being. After 3 weeks of consistent application, the new neural patterns begin to establish themselves as your default mode of operation. To consolidate this transformation, establish what I call anchoring rituals, short but powerful practices that daily reaffirm your new relationship with prosperity. It can be as simple as 5 minutes of visualization in the morning, a moment of gratitude before each meal, or a mindful review of your abundance wins before bed. Among the most common objections to the method is the concern that it seems too simple to work. This objection reveals deep cultural conditioning, the belief that prosperity must be difficult, complex, and exclusive. As Wattles observed, the truth is simple, direct, and always accessible to those who are willing to receive it. The simplicity of the method is precisely what guarantees its universal effectiveness. Another frequent objection is, I've tried similar things before with no results. Here, the crucial distinction lies in the complete integration of the 3 elements: substantial thought, vibrational frequency, and aligned action. Most people apply only 1 or 2 of these elements, creating a contradictory signal that the universe cannot clearly respond to. For those who successfully complete the 21 days, there are advanced techniques that take manifestation to new levels. One of the most powerful is the morphogenetic field of prosperity, a practice that not only raises your individual frequency, but creates a collective field of abundance that benefits everyone around you. This advanced technique demonstrates a fundamental truth. True prosperity is never a zero-sum game. When you thrive in an authentic and aligned way, you naturally uplift those around you. As Wattles stated, you are a channel through which life expands and becomes more. The desire for wealth is simply the desire for more life. The practical application of the method in the real world does not ignore economic or social realities, but transcends their apparent limitations by operating from a more fundamental level of reality, the level of creative consciousness that precedes all physical manifestation. We have reached the end of our journey through the invisible method to manifest prosperity in 21 days. But in truth, we are just at the beginning, on the threshold of a new way of experiencing the abundance that has always been within reach, just waiting to be recognized and received. Let's recap the fundamental truths that form the heart of this method. First, prosperity is not something to be achieved, but something to be allowed, a natural state that emerges when blockages are removed. Second, your thoughts, vibrations, and actions create a unified field of manifestation that attracts or repels abundance. Third, sustainable transformation occurs in layers, starting at the level of consciousness and gradually manifesting in external reality. Wallace D. Wattles summarized this wisdom in one powerful phrase: the universe is one great living substance, always in motion according to law, and always moving toward more life and functioning. The nature of universal intelligence is to expand, and all that lives seeks to express more life. Consider the story of Carlos, a professional who lived in constant financial anxiety despite having a good job. After applying the invisible method for 21 days, he not only transformed his relationship with money, but began to attract opportunities he had never considered possible. The most notable thing was not the increase in his income, although that did happen, but the deep sense of peace that replaced chronic anxiety. As he described it, "For the first time in my life, I feel like I am in partnership with abundance, not at war with scarcity." This transformation is available to you right now. It is not a distant promise, but an immediate possibility. All that is required is your conscious decision to embark on this 21-day journey, a decision to think, vibrate, and act in alignment with the invisible laws of prosperity. The invitation is now clear. Start today. Don't wait for perfect conditions, because they never come. Don't wait until you have more knowledge, because true knowledge comes from direct experience. And most of all, Don't wait until you feel ready, because readiness is an illusion designed by the ego to keep you in the comfort zone of familiarity. Make a sacred commitment to yourself, not to some abstract idea of prosperity, but to the person you know, deep in your heart, you have the potential to become. This thriving version of you already exists as a living possibility. Your 21-day journey is simply the process of aligning yourself with this reality. As Waddle so beautifully expressed, there is nothing wrong with wanting to get rich. The desire for wealth is really the desire for a richer, fuller, more abundant life. It is a cosmic impulse. This cosmic impulse is pulsing through you right now, inviting you to expand into your fullest, most prosperous expression. The decision is yours. The next 21 days will pass anyway. The only question is, will they bring you closer to the prosperity you deserve? Or will they hold you to the same familiar standard? The wisdom, the tools, and the path were presented. Now, take the first step.